So you know that thing where you have an embarrassing memory or something that went poorly, you said something and you got a different reaction than you were expecting, and it comes to mind when you're in moments of silence and you cringe about it? I'm certain I'm not the only one who has those experiences. Well, I had those a lot as a child. I would just constantly think about things that I said that went over like a lead balloon, or things that I said that were misinterpreted. And somehow, and I don't know where this came from, I attribute it to the Lord, but in my sophomore year of high school, I had an inspiration on that. I was on the bus to a track meet. The only sport I ever did in high school was one season of track, and I was terrible at it. I was on a bus to a track meet, feeling melancholic, and I was thinking about something embarrassing or whatever. And then the inspiration I had was this: if I acted as well as could be expected in that moment with the information that I had, why am I questioning myself? If I can't imagine a different way of acting, or if I'm imagining a different way of acting based on stuff that I learned later rather than stuff that I had at the moment, how can I doubt my actions? I had the best information I had. I made the best decision I could with that information. And yeah, the result was different than I expected. But I myself am not culpable for that result. And that was very helpful as a high schooler and then later in life. It really helped me focus on who I am at the moment. And it really forced me to try to make my best decision at any given moment. It's one of the reasons that even to this day, I don't drink alcohol, and I didn't in high school. Because I said, okay, if I'm supposed to make the best decision at any given moment, I don't want to do anything to dull my senses or my decision-making capacity. It's a resolution I've had since high school. Well, that resolution led to a different resolution at the beginning of college. The resolution to make the best decision I could, to be as present as I could to my present decisions, led to the resolution to try to find happiness in the now. I went through the American education system. Almost all of our children do as well. So a lot of times kids are trained to think, okay, my happiness will come from the next achievement. If I'm in first grade, I'm really looking forward to getting to second grade. If I'm in fifth grade, I'm so looking forward to middle school. If I'm in middle school, high school is going to be the best. If I'm in high school, nothing's awesome until college. Once I'm in college, well, once I have a job, I'll be happy. Once I'm married, I'll be happy. Once I have kids, I'll be happy. Once I work for 40 years and retire, I'll be happy. We have this tendency, from the way we raise children, to always look forward to the next thing as our source of happiness. And so because I was already focused on the present moment in decision-making, I also resolved to be focused on the present moment in happiness. I wasn't going to wait for something else to be happy. I was going to do everything that I could in the moment to carpe diem, although that's never a phrase I used for myself, but to truly say, this is an opportunity I have, I'm going to take it now. This is what I have in front of me right now. I'm going to try to find a way in which this thing is the source of my happiness. Now, theologically, that is an incredibly important move for all of us to make in our relationship with God. Why? Well, God is the eternal now, the eternal present. We, as human beings, within time, experience our lives as a series of moments, one after the other. God is outside of time. Time is a creature, which God is outside of all creation, so He's outside of time. Meaning that God experiences all moments simultaneously. He experiences your birth and your death as the same moment. He experiences the creation of the universe and the death of the universe as the same moment. Meaning that He is infinitely and perfectly and unchangeably present to every moment of time equally. He is fully present in this moment and fully present in the next moment. And that doesn't change for Him because He's fully present to all things and he experiences all things simultaneously. Meaning that God is always experienced in the now. He's the eternal now. And as beings who experience things in series, our experience of God, our ability to converse with the Lord or to receive what he wants to give us, is always happening in the present moment. Yes, our experiences of God in the past are encouraging. They remind us that God has been with us, and so they give us some assurance that God will be with us. And yes, our looking forward to God's presence in the future is the Christian virtue of hope, believing that God is always with us and fulfills his promises. Nevertheless, God is not for us in the past, nor is he in the future. He is present to us in the present. He is here and now. So if we want to have a relationship with God, that relationship with God is always going to be now, in the present moment. The resolutions that I made in high school and college allowed me to better experience the presence of God because I was so focused on what's going on now. And in so doing, I was able to see and experience God being present to me now, at every moment. Two ways in which a lot of times this falls apart: money and time. Start with money, because that's what the Lord talks about in the gospel. We have this character who has a bountiful harvest. It's absolutely wonderful. And he says, okay, I'm going to store it away. I'm not going to use any of it now. I'm going to store it all away. Now, I don't think this parable means that you shouldn't have a savings account. But I do think it means that you should only save what is necessary. I'm a big proponent of just doing math. Try to do the math to figure out what you're going to need in retirement. Pull up an actuarial table if you have to. How long am I probably going to live? What's the cost of living multiplied by inflation? It's not easy math, but it's math. Okay, save that. Fine, put that away. That's necessary given the way the American economy is structured. And then maybe you're saving for something specific. Maybe you need a new car. Well, you know how much that car is going to cost. You know how much you have to set aside. Fine. Okay. But your happiness is not in those things. Your happiness is in the now. Because God is in the now and God is the source of all happiness. Meaning, if you have excess resources after the math that you've done for your retirement and maybe the specific thing you're saving up for, use those resources. Use them. Use them for yourself, use them for your children, use them for your community, use them for the needy. But use them. Don't always say, okay, the more I can set aside, the better things are going to be. Because that's assuming that the benefit of those resources is not now, but it's later. That God blessed you with those resources in the now, only for you to then enjoy them in the later. It's not how God works. Now imagine a different scenario. Imagine had this guy in the gospel said, I have this bountiful harvest, and I'll put aside what I need to get me through a famine or whatever else. But I have all of this excess. I'm going to use it to throw a feast for my family and friends and neighborhood. I'm going to invite a bunch of people over. We're going to have this huge party. Now remember, in the gospel, the guy dies right after the harvest. Had he done that with his family, friends, and community, he would have had an incredible experience, a joyful experience, and they would have had that experience. And their last memory of him, before he died, would have been just how wonderful and generous he was. A very different use of his resources. And that's that second point with time. A lot of times we will be tempted to say, okay, I have to do all of these things, or all of these things have to be in place before I can enjoy something. So I've got kids. Well, in order for me to take care of my kids, I have to do all of these things and get my career perfect and whatever else. And you'll hear parents say, yeah, I really wish I'd spent more time with my kids in the present moment, rather than waiting for all of these things to be in place before I was hanging out with them. I think parents of newborns are actually the best at this, because I look at them and I say, you're not going to be happy until your child sleeps through the night, because your existence is miserable. I can't imagine doing this. And yet, those parents will look at me and say, yeah, but they're only this age once, right? It is joyful to have a newborn, and there is something really beautiful and special about a newborn. They're not tempted to say, the joy of my child comes later. They are very focused on the grace that God is giving them now in that child. And I think that's true for all of us in all sorts of ways. It's very tempting to say, I will be happy when this is in place, or this is in place, or this is in place, instead of saying, somehow the Lord is present to me now. He is blessing me now. This is true for joys, and it's true for pains. There are people with terrible medical issues. There are people with incredible suffering, both physical and emotional. And yet, God is not present to them after all of that suffering goes away. God is present to them now, in this moment, even in the suffering. Similarly with joy, God is present now in the joy. He is only ever present in the now. And our job as Christians is to look for that. Our faith tells us He is present to me. He is blessing me. There is something here in which God is loving me. And He wants me to use this present moment or this present experience, good or bad, these present resources to love Him and to love those around me. Somehow God is present and pushing me here and now. Our faith tells us that's true. But our heart and our mind, they struggle to see it. We have to work at that as Christians. So how do we work at it? I recommend a habit of thanksgiving. And I say habit on purpose. There have been times in my life where I have been so joyful and happy that I would just spontaneously give thanks to God. And those were wonderful times, and I look back on them with fondness. However, human beings have ups and downs, and the thing that keeps us steady through the ups and downs is habits. Things that we are just solid on, actions that we take in the good times and the bad. A habit of thanksgiving is built on giving thanks regularly on purpose, which is to say, when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed in the evening, spend some time giving thanks to God for all of the blessings of your life, and especially all of the blessings of that day. Even when you don't feel like it, do it. If you do it every day for a while, you will become more and more attentive to the ways in which God is blessing you in the now, when He and where He is present. And then, in that moment, you will be attentive to Him in real time. So let's say, for example, there's somebody that you work with, and you've been able to get past the how's the weather phase of your friendship, and every day you sort of share a joy with each other, or share an insight with each other. That's something to give thanks for. At the end of the day, maybe I'm giving thanks for that. And I do that over the course of 2 or 3 months, to the point that one day at work, I'm talking to that person, I'm getting that insight, and in that moment I am thankful. Because I know that God is present in this conversation. God is present to the two of us, and He's blessing the two of us, and I can see it and I can notice it as it's happening. And then my thanksgiving is 10 or 20 or 50-fold, because I'm experiencing God as He is present to me. It's a beautiful and incredible experience. Because, over time, I gave thanks to God and became more attentive to where He was present in my day. My friends, our faith tells us that God is always perfectly, infinitely, absolutely, unchangeably present to us. What's lacking is not His presence. What's lacking is our attentiveness, our ability to see Him, to experience Him, to open ourselves to Him. I promise you, if you look, you will find. If you expand your heart to the blessings that God always wants to give you, you will find Him. In the good times and in the bad. In the places where it's obvious God is here and the places where it's less obvious. It doesn't change that He's still perfectly and eternally present to you. If you give thanks to God today and every day, you will find Him more and more frequently. And as a final note, because God is only present in the moment, He is present in this moment, right now, in this homily, in this Mass. And I'd encourage you for the next half an hour, as Jesus shows up on the altar in the Eucharist, to be thankful for that moment and to allow God to show Himself to you in this, the eternal present.